And that was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion. We threw that game. We gave it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
I guess I can't go to the...
Welcome to the playoffs, sir. This is the Tonto's Demise podcast, playoff style. I'm Detonators Tonto Bowl 6 champ in the playoffs, sitting here with
Matthew Detling, Tonto Bowls 1 and 3 champ in the playoffs, sir.
That's great. The podcasters are in the playoffs. Kitchen of Love is in the playoffs. And then we got Jay and somehow Josh. Just kidding. I think he's starting to take it personally, so I'm going to lay off Josh a little bit tonight. No, I'm not.
Well, just to let you know, Brian, you're welcome.
Welcome for what? This coffee. Thank you very much. This coffee is delicious.
It's wonderful coffee, but that other thing.
The pizza. The pizza was very good as well. Yeah.
Pizza as well.
Was good, yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah. Pizza?
Elmo? Elmo?
Don't say that, because then you have to deliver.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know, don't you listen to Craig's reviews?
I watched the beginning and I watched the end.
You talk about where he said Brian should probably like buy me a beer, or definitely say thank you, or for knocking you out of first place, Josh out of first place, essentially basically giving you $50.
I'll tell the league the same thing I texted you. Every other team in the entire league would have beat Josh this week. You just happen to be playing him. Yeah, I told you I'll still get you a beer.
But I was playing him. It was me. It was all me.
It was all you. You know what I'm gonna do, and I thought about this. I'm gonna actually get one beer, and you and Gags have to split it, because you essentially together helped me get that first place. Because, well,
last week.
Yeah, because of the trade.
Because of the trade?
The trade. I really wish, and it didn't actually turn out this way, but I really wish that if Gags hadn't traded Kelsey, he would have beat me. Mm-hmm. But I think I had him by enough points it wouldn't have mattered. And I wish that you would have lost had you not had Kelsey and Shepard. Did you play Shepard?
I haven't played Shepard since I've had him.
Because of all the injuries, migraines, injuries.
Like your curse that you guys have got me with. Like, I can't even play Shepard.
It would have been perfect for me if I could say that, like, I would not have first place had that trade not happened, but it still would have happened. But I still thank both of you.
I mean, if we're going to go trades, like, if you wouldn't have traded, you would not have had McCoy.
No, I'm just talking about, I got your point. I'm just talking about your trade specifically. And we're not gonna harp on it, but I just think it would have been poetic if somehow Gags would have won otherwise had he not traded Kelsey, and it would have been even more spectacular if Craig would have lost, Disco would have lost, and had he not made that trade, he would have made playoffs. That's what I was hoping for.
Okay, that would have been spectacular.
But I'll still give you guys a beer, and you can split it. Just like, take a sip, pass it. Take a sip, pass it.
I think Gags would prefer to puff, pass.
Maybe. Whatever you guys want to do.
And I'm all for it, Gags. I'd rather puff, pass, too.
Okay. Well, then I'll treat you guys somehow. All right?
To a joint instead of a beer.
That's probably more expensive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But $50 will cover it.
Jeez.
Also, Josh made a point. He's like, your stupid trade got you 22 points, Det. Because Kelsey went off like within like the first 5 plays or something.
I saw that.
But needless to say, I just like to point out that I could give you those 22 points myself and then still beat you.
Yeah, and then some.
And then some.
Yeah,
because his team sucked.
I was surprised that Kelsey's score wasn't over 40.
Well, because he started throwing it to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
that's the only reason why.
Yeah,
that bum.
Oh, nice! It begins.
It does begin.
The smack talk begins.
We have the baby Jesus here on the Pyrex box. Just let you know.
We do, sweet baby Jesus. This week's matchups.
Wild card.
All right, Detling, that was a very interesting music choice for this year's playoffs. How did you stumble across that?
I went to NFL Films and started looking down the names, and it was like Rambling Man or something like that. So I said, "Oh, let's do this one," and it was totally different from what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was absolutely 100% different, and I'm going to put this out there right now. If anyone can name that tune without looking it up, like with a SoundHound app or anything like that, I will give you my first place winnings. If you can name that tune, I'll give you all $50 minus whatever I'm going to give Detling and Gags. The only person I think would probably have a chance is probably Jut. He probably just randomly knows what that is somehow.
Randomly, yeah.
Probably because Liam plays it on his iPad or something.
Right. Well, now you're giving him clues. You don't want to give him clues.
There are no clues. There are absolutely no clues. Just because Liam just goes on his iPad all the time.
Well, Liam plays all kinds of stuff,
true.
though.
I know.
He's a weird kid, so.
Yeah, it's not from outer space. It is not from outer space. So
the background was outer space, though.
Welcome to the playoffs, boys. It's a very exciting time of year. We got 4 teams on this wild card weekend matching up. Detling might say that 2 of them don't belong here. I might agree because, as Craig pointed out, there's a 3-game difference.
Right.
But in terms of point totals, they're not that far off from one another.
You can tell me when Craig does, I got this many points thing.
Yeah.
I hate that when he does it.
I know.
Well,
Because it doesn't show, like, sometimes you might just have a...
Nola hates it too.
All right, we were saying that we might not think that everyone belongs here, but they're here, and they're going to try and make it to the second round. And Craig is going to be going up against you. We're going to save that for the matchup of the week, but why don't we start with the first matchup? And we're doing this early in the podcast so that we don't get a lot of information from the game because it's probably just started.
It did just start. And may I point out, because of Craig's whole point thingy, up until this last week, week 12, I had been outscored by everybody on my scores. Because right now I currently have 1989 to 1952 in terms of points. But before then, everybody was outscoring me, and I was still winning. So when people were beating me, they were killing me.
There you go. So they can be skewed.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't agree with Craig's formulations.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about Bad Luck Bears and FC Bohoric.
And
other matchup.
Let's see. I'm just gonna go with Bad Luck Bears. Just kidding. No, we're gonna go a little bit more in depth with these matchups, and let's go with the quarterback. We've got McCown going up against Denver and Matt Ryan against New Orleans. Like we were just talking off air, McCown versus Denver. Like if you said somebody was going to start him in the beginning of the season for the playoffs, I think you're crazy.
Right.
And it still might not work out completely, but looking at the numbers, like it makes sense.
It's also kind of funny that McCown has not been hurt at all yet this year, I believe, which is always his downfall.
Yeah.
He always is like the backup quarterback, and when he gets a chance to start, he usually gets hurt. And plus, it's funny that McCown has started all year, I believe. I could be wrong. And he didn't get benched for Geno Smith, like Eli Manning.
That is weird.
That's a whole other story. But as far as my opinion goes, then you would normally think Matt Ryan would just run away with this one.
Yeah.
But the way like New Orleans has been playing, as far as like running the ball a lot more,
right.
It's actually, I think it's a toss up, and I actually believe that McCown is going to win this matchup.
That's surprising, but when you look at McCown's numbers, it's not that surprising. I say that Matt Ryan's going to put up a lot of numbers tonight. I'm going to give it to Matt Ryan.
Okay. Now we're going to do the wide receiver versus wide receiver?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Wide receiver 1 versus wide receiver 1. We have Julio Jones versus A.J. Green.
2 top-tier receivers.
We'd like to say so.
Oh,
Julio Jones has not been showing up this year that much.
Not much. When he does, he does.
He does, but I think it has more to do with the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And but in my opinion, I believe A.J. Green is going to run away with this one, going against Chicago's defense, and seeing him play against the Steelers. I mean, he went nuts.
He went nuts, but then we also left him wide open a few times. Embarrassing how wide open he was.
He was, and he had a third touchdown being called back, and I forget whether it was some phantom holding or
really bad holding call.
Yeah.
And that would have been a huge touchdown.
It would have.
So the Bengals are actually rolling right now, even though they did fall to us, the Steelers. But I'm still giving this to A.J. Green as well. I think he's more of a lock.
I agree. All right, Golden Tate versus Keenan Allen. This one, you can't argue. It's Keenan Allen.
It's Keenan Allen.
Guy's destroying people right now. He is hot at the right time.
Him and Rivers are just connecting.
Right, and let's take this moment to give Justin credit for sticking with his boy.
For having the balls.
Yeah, what was it, the second round or third round that he picked him?
I want to say second.
Yeah,
so cojones on this guy.
Because, as we all know, he to us, I mean, to me, he was like a laughing. He was a joke.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're gonna get you don't want your guy to get Keenan Allen.
Right.
But now Justin's reaping the benefits, and we both agree that Keenan Allen is gonna whoop Golden Tate's butt.
All right.
Oh, you can go.
The next matchup, we have Deshaun Jackson, Boomer Bust going against Detroit, or Alshon Jeffrey and the Rams. That's a tough call. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey has been putting on a nice second half of the year performance. It was a nice pickup on the trade for Bohork. And I guess if I had to choose, the Rams have a pretty good defense, but I think Jeffrey's going to outscore Jackson. Jackson's hasn't been showing up that much lately, so I'm going Jeffrey.
A lot more busts than their boom for him. Well, you're going Jeffrey?
Yeah.
As we let me see, as Brian, I remember if you watched the whole review, Craig had made a couple suggestions about what
I saw that
they should do.
I think it's too late though.
Yeah.
He did not change.
It was some with Sanu, and actually he did listen because he put Freeman in the flex.
Did he really?
Yeah,
okay.
So I guess he kind of listened.
I don't know if he actually listened. I doubt it. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he listens to Craig's reviews.
I think Craig also, Craig also recommended putting Sanu in place of Jackson because of the whole Matt Ryan thing.
Right.
But he didn't. So, but I would agree with you. Alshon Jeffrey is better than Jackson as far as like the quarterbacks and everything going on. And I said he was a joke. I said Jeffrey was a joke earlier. I'm taking it back. I was wrong.
Yeah, and that was like the same week that Gags cleaned his apartment.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, 2 and 2 together. And so basically the motivation of me calling him a joke decided Jeffrey made the decision to perform. And something about I when I watch the Eagles games, I still want him to do the chef celebration.
Oh, I know, it'd be awesome.
But
maybe saving it for the fantasy playoffs.
Maybe.
All right, let's move down to the running backs here.
All right, we got Leonard Fournette versus Dion Lewis. Beginning of the season, I would have laughed and said Fournette all the way.
Same here.
But it's pretty. You know what? I'm going to go Dion Lewis because against Miami, and Fournette's going against that vaunted Seattle front.
Yeah,
but it is Fournette.
I mean, I think it's going to be really close. I think Fournette might get a touchdown, but I probably have to go Dion Lewis. Like, I think he'll edge it out, but I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, agree. All right, next up we got Frank Gore, old reliable, versus Kareem Hunt. Definitely not reliable.
No.
Got punished last week, put on Justin's bench, and his replacement, I think, went off. I can't remember who it was, though.
I can't remember.
If we look real quick, it's it's Collins.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he did pretty well.
I think he did do well. I know he at least got a touchdown.
Yeah, and I know Hunt didn't do well because if he did, I'd be in the playoffs in my other league.
But I don't think I could bench Hunt either.
Well, we're gonna see.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go Kareem Hunt because versus the Oakland D.
In Buffalo.
Did you hear me? I said Oakley.
Oakley D.
The Oakley D.
The Oakley D. I hate picking against Jay this much. Frank Gore could surprise. It's possible. Buffalo's got a pretty decent D, but I got to give this to Kareem Hunt as well.
All right, so we're picking both of Justin's running backs. Yes. That's pretty crazy. All right, next the tight ends. We got Jimmy Graham versus Cameron Brate. You got to go Jimmy Graham all the way.
Even though he's going against Jacksonville, you got to go Jimmy Graham.
Yep.
It's a tough matchup, but I think he's going to get a lot of looks. I don't know. How questionable is he? Do you have any idea?
I don't think he's that questionable. Okay. Yeah. But I don't have any idea as well.
All right, this flex matchup is really, really tasty. We got Devontae Freeman versus Burkhead. Burkhead's been putting up some solid numbers.
Oh, he's been carrying me in my other league. Absolutely carrying me, tearing it up.
We don't care about your other league.
I know, but I'm just giving him credit that way.
And
I would not have won without him.
I never like to start New England running backs, but if you're ever going to do it, Jets got the formula. This is how you play the New England running backs. You play them both because you're not going to get burned.
True.
I'm going to give this one to Freeman.
You give it to just like that. Boom, Freeman. Okay. Well, looking at, I know Freeman overall. Freeman's the better player.
I think he's overdue.
he is overdue. That's a good way to put it. But Burkhead, man, is just on a tear. Like I think he's had 2 touchdowns the last 2 weeks, each game.
Wow.
I can't remember, but he hasn't been getting that many rushing, but he's getting receiving. I'm gonna go Burkhead, just because against Miami,
All
and
right.
they're gonna be looking because Gronk's not gonna be in there, so they're gonna be looking for other ways to get the ball around.
Gotcha. All right, kicker. I'm gonna go Elliott over Hauschka.
Halushki.
I really think that Elliott will have a lot of opportunities. I think the offense potentially could stall out a little bit against the Rams.
Well, Buffalo, I don't know if Tyrod Taylor's even playing, so if that's the case, it's really bad.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Elliott as well, although I do like Hauschka just because of his name, but I'm gonna go Elliott. All right, defense: Seattle versus Jacksonville, or Los Angeles Rams versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think definitely Seattle, without question.
I do too. I really honestly think Seattle's going to get a lot of turnovers
Yeah.
because of Blake Bortles, and I think that they're going to be able to stop Fournette, and when that happens, they're going to have to throw, and I just don't see Jacksonville doing that well. So I picked Seattle also because the Rams are playing Philly, and Philly's going to be pissed because they lost to Seattle.
Yeah, I agree. And I just think they've just got a more explosive offense. They might get some points, but I think Seattle is going to take the lion's share of that one. Quick question. Why did Justin pick up Blake Bortles?
That's a good question.
I have a theory, and I think it was just like an elaborate joke. I think it was just like a mind game. I think it was just being cute and just being funny.
What, with Josh?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Well, also he doesn't have a backup quarterback.
So maybe
Now he
I
has
don't.
one in case
So maybe
Brian
it's
goes down.
maybe it's actually legitimate pickup.
It could be a legitimate pickup. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I mean I guess it must be, but because it would be a really weird way to make a joke because I think this is his last pickup of the year.
Is that his last?
Yeah, I think I'm almost positive it's his last transaction of the year. So I can't imagine him playing.
It was his last pickup.
Yeah, I can't imagine him playing Blake Bortles. So I think it was a joke.
Well, let me see here. Week 15. Nope, wouldn't do that either. Week 16. No.
Who's
Might be a
it?
joke.
Yeah, I think it's a joke.
Blake Bortles plays San Francisco, which could be high offensive, but also that would be. I think it's the Leonard Fournette show.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't understand the joke. I don't know what it is. If it is one, if it's just for Josh or something.
I don't know. Jet, give us an answer on that one. All right. So, what do you think about this matchup? Who are you taking to make it to the second round? If Jay wins, he's guaranteed to play me. If Bohoric wins, who knows who's going to play? Probably Josh. Because he's the number 3 seed, right? So, yeah.
Right.
If Jet wins, he's automatically playing Josh. All right.
Automatically. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I forgot
he's
you
going
were
to play
in first place.
He's going to play the higher seed.
I'm so used to Josh being in first place.
I know. We all got used to that.
Yeah.
You go ahead and make your choice, and I'll tell you mine.
All right. Well, I think this is going to be a tough matchup here. I believe, first of all, credit to both of you for making the playoffs. I know the Bad Luck Bears, we all thought they had a great team, and if Luck would have came back, it might have been even better. But he didn't. And you strived on, and you made your picks, and you were basically put together by a ragtag bunch of quarterbacks, Goff and McCown, and I think there's other people too.
There were other quarterbacks.
Yeah, they're not there anymore.
Way.
But you did well. I think. Let me. Oh man, I really think this is a toss-up. I really do. I'm gonna go. And this is what Craig also said in the video about how he said he's interested to hear us because he said he doesn't think that any of us, we don't want either of them to lose, and we also don't want to pick against either of them as well. And at first I laughed, but now I'm finding that it's kind of actually true.
It's not true for me.
It's not true for you? Okay, well, I guess I got to go. I think I'm going to go with Justin on the strength of his receivers and Burkhead, actually.
This is not a hard choice for me. My heart wants Jay 1,000 times more than Jut. Jut, you can suck a big one. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
Why? Why so cruel to Justin?
Tonto Bull 14 or whatever it was. No, Tonto Bull 12.
Oh, you played him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he beat me.
Then
so
that was a rightful reason.
I have no way can I back Jut in a playoff. I don't want him to get two titles before I do. Screw that guy. Now my heart truly wants Jay to win, But after we analyze the game, I do feel like Jut is going to win. I think that's like that. My brain says Jut based on the matchups. Jay just has a lot of tough matchups. But I'm going to be pulling for him. I want to see Justin crash and burn. And he can, cry on Craig's shoulder in the kitchen of love. Who knows? Maybe they'll be crying on each other's shoulders next week.
That would be nice.
Yeah. But I am all behind Jay. But I think my gut says that Jut's going to win it. So, I like you said, I think it's going to be a close one.
Yes, and I would, if I can't win the league, I would be rooting for either Jay or Josh, to be honest.
Yeah, I would
That
vote.
would be their first titles.
Yeah.
And I would be rooting more for Jay than Josh.
Yeah.
Because I think Jay would deserve it because he's been in the league longer.
True.
And I think gone through more heartache, I believe.
Yeah, he's been at least to one Tonto Bowl, maybe two.
Yeah. And I know Josh, even though I don't think he's been to any Tonto Bowls,
Yeah.
I still feel that he hasn't gone through enough pain and suffering to deserve one.
Fair enough.
Because, I mean, with that being said, I won 2 in the first 3 years, but I've gone through a lot of suffering.
Yes, you have.
So-
It's a long drought.
Yes, so I had to go through the pain after it.
Yeah.
And I could tell you, Josh, I think it might be better to go through the pain first and then win one.
Oh, yeah, because you can get the reward at the end.
Right, yeah. I got the reward too early.
Yeah, you're like a one-hit wonder that can't write another
Hit
hit.
wonder.
Yeah.
My one CD wonder.
You're like Weezer.
I was just thinking that.
All right. So that's the first matchup. Good luck, gentlemen.
The matchup of the week. The rematch. Will Detling get his revenge?
It's actually a grudge match, Brian. We played twice already.
And
It's 1-1.
oh, that's right. It is 1-1. Sorry. So this is the rubber match.
Yes, I spanked him the first time, and he spanked me the second time.
All right.
And now we're just going to decide who gets to reach around and finish each other off.
Oh, man. That's a great way to introduce this matchup. I see that Craig has got his Michael Rappaport icon up there. He didn't waste any time on that. And
I don't know if he thinks it bothers me or not, because it doesn't.
It motivates you.
It does. I love Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
I always want to say Michael Ian Rappaport, but I think that's somebody else. He's great in Metro.
Yeah, that's like your go-to.
He is. I'm telling you. I told with Eddie Murphy. It takes place in San Francisco. He's also great as in I believe Thelma and Louise. He was.
Okay.
Was it Thelma and Louise? No. It was It was the movie with Christian Slater and the guy from Sopranos.
No
True
idea.
Romance.
Okay.
Where Brad Pitt was his roommate, and he slept on the. He was like a stoner kid that slept on his couch. But he's great in that movie too.
But Detling digresses.
I digress.
All right. I have to ask you, was it like, are you guys just playing mind games? Because I looked at your matchup like yesterday, and nobody had anybody in your lineups. Is that just like mind games?
I think it was.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was intentional or
Trying
unintentional.
to put the Connor in, tell me I don't want to beat a cancer survivor,
Uh-huh.
which you didn't get. You didn't understand. I told you insulted all the Jews.
How did I insult?
Cause you were like, you're gonna beat us. How are you gonna feel when you beat a survivor?
I never said that.
Yes, you did.
No, you can go to the lineup. That was Craig.
Was that correct?
Yeah,
That was you. You said something to the line.
I didn't say anything about that. I'm not gonna. I mean, if you want to go check it, you can check it. But
All right.
I'll wait for my apology.
What? Apology for me being handsome, Brian? Apology for me giving you pizza and coffee?
No, you can apologize for like coming after me over the.
Oh, you're right. I owe Brian an apology. I thought that was Brian that insulted all the Jews, but it was Craig.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
Apology accepted.
Yes, it was Craig who used the word survivor and insulted every Jew that went through the Holocaust.
Yes.
And every Jew, he just perked up and we're like, survivor.
And plus, he's not even going to play him.
Yeah. Like,
So it's like an insult even more.
yeah, they're like, we went through the Holocaust. All this guy did was survive cancer.
Right.
Early detection. I mean, come on. So, yeah, you're not even going to play him. I told you, you don't have the balls to start Connor.
Right. Then you don't get it. You shouldn't be able to use him as your pawn.
Exactly, yeah. Sorry, you shouldn't even have him on your bench, you little bitch.
You talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Craig.
You gotta be clear on that, man. You can't call everybody that because then we get confused.
I only call 3 people that in the league.
All right, me, Craig,
Jimmy.
okay, the commissioner, the assistant to the commissioner, and me.
That's one that split the pot and also won first place.
Speaking of those two guys, I heard on Craig's review that he said that the matchup, whatever last week, was the commissioner and the co-commissioner. Craig, you are not the co-commissioner. You have never been
assistant to the commissioner.
You've never been given that role, so don't try and give yourself that title.
Right, there is no co. It's only assistant. You are his secretary, glorified.
Blackie.
Yes.
But anyways, let's get back to the matchup.
All right, this matchup is the Space Antelope versus Skeletor Isotopes.
And let's see here. Going at quarterback, we've got Kirk Cousin going against the Chargers, and we've got Derek Carr going up against the Chiefs. Now, the beginning of the year, the Chiefs looked a lot scarier than they do now, and the Chargers, they've got a pretty tough defense. So I'm going to say this is almost a wash. I don't think that either quarterback blows it out of the water, but I'm going to give Carr a slight advantage because Kansas City has been really weak.
It's a good point. Also, Kansas City, they suspended their best cornerback, Peters, because he threw his flag into the crowd and got ejected. That's like a whole bag of unfinished business we got to get to. And Kirk Cousins is playing with a patchwork line. Like I've watched him. I've had the pleasure of watching him against these teams, and his offensive line, they're just toast. I think there might be like 2 starters left.
And I watched him in that game last week. He just got pounded at the end of the game.
He did. They took him out. Gruden took him out because they're not going to get him beat up. Like one guy leveled him
because there was no way they're going to come back and win. So they was trying to protect him. I think
they were, and that's the thing. Well, he's a $1 million quarterback essentially, or multi-million dollars.
Yeah,
he's better than Carr, in my opinion.
Oh,
as far as like being an actual quarterback,
right? But who are you taking this week?
I'm going to take Cousins if I play him. Dun dun dun.
Ooh, drama.
Make Craig worry. Mind games, Craig.
Who you got on your bench? Or are you just gonna leave that and float that out?
Other than the handsome Jimmy Garoppolo.
Wow.
Tom Brady light.
I saw you pick him up there the other day.
I have my last pick. I need a quarterback. Rodgers can't come play 14, or he would.
That's right. He might play 15.
If he is, he might be in.
All right.
And then why do you think I picked him up?
Well, that's a good. That's a good reason.
I didn't want anybody else to use him against me.
Right. And that's why I picked up what's his name, Bernard. I didn't want anybody to use him against me.
His little.
It was defensive.
Yeah. I was gonna ask when you did that. Were you thinking of me? Probably not.
No, I wasn't. No? I honestly wasn't.
Price is right, Craig.
It went through my mind. I'm like, it kind of hurts Detling, but I was doing it more because I didn't want anybody else to use him in Week 15 because who knows how long Mixon will be out. You know, maybe Mixon has a concussion that holds him out for 2 weeks. So
maybe.
Bernard, he might be used a lot, so I'm like, you know what? He'll probably be on my bench, but I don't want anybody else using him against me.
Well, I just figured somebody...
But I did prices right, Craig.
Yeah, I thought Craig was going to grab him.
Me too. That's why I was like, 51? Bam.
Yeah, because Craig's got Rod Smith, and he's totally touchdown dependent.
Oh, my goodness.
So
we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, but anyway, okay.
All right. We've got the receivers here. We've got Baldwin against Jacksonville. And then you got Larry Fitz going up against Tennessee. You got to give that to Larry Fitz.
Yeah, one thing I hate, Justin, is that you traded Larry Fitzgerald. Now he's playing against me. I can't believe it. Just ticks me off so much.
How can you there's no way you're going to pick against the number one receiver in the game.
You're right. I mean, it's impossible to pick against the number one receiver in the game.
Which is?
Larry Fitzgerald.
You are the only man in the universe right now that thinks, other than Larry Fitzgerald, who thinks that he's the number. He probably doesn't even thinks he's the number one receiver in the game.
Bruce Arians and I would agree he's the number one.
Yeah, Bruce Arians is going to say that to him because he wants him to perform. Of course, it's a motivation.
Well, then in that case, as far as motivation goes, I hope Larry Fitzgerald is the worst receiver in the game this week only.
Okay.
So
are you picking Fitzy?
I pick Fitzy because it's just because of the matchup versus Jacksonville. Baldwin has to play Jalen Ramsey, and Fitzy is playing Tennessee, and they love to throw him the ball. And Tennessee's defense isn't that good as far as that. I don't know, Blaine Gabbert is concerned. So I predict Fitzy's going to get a lot of touches here, and I hate it.
All right, we've got Tyreek Hill going up against Shepard. Is Shepard actually going to play, or do you have somebody else you're going to put in there?
Shepard is dealing with a hammy,
yeah,
which worries me.
Yeah,
because what receivers need is their hammies, and
they do.
No hammy, no whammy, my friend.
That's right.
So at the moment he's playing, if I feel he doesn't play, it will most likely be Marquise Goodwin. And
He did pretty well, didn't he?
Yeah, if I could beat Craig with Marquise Goodwin, I believe that would like just put the biggest frown on his face.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Marquise fucking Goodwin. Marquise Goodwin.
He would not forget that.
No.
Ever.
No, he would not. And I know it's Tyreek Hill, so
I'm going Tyreek Hill.
I'm going to go. It really sucks it's going against Oakland, too. If it's Shepard, I'm going to go Shepard.
All right. He has potential for he's a touchdown man.
Him and Manning have a great rapport.
They do.
Last time they were together, it was like 11 catches or something crazy.
I owned him last year. He played pretty well. He got a lot of touchdowns for a rookie. So I'm still going Tyreek Hill because I don't think Shepard's going to be 100%.
Shepard also is a possible keeper choice for me.
Okay.
He's
what round?
Like 14th or something.
Yeah, that wouldn't be horrible. Yeah.
Did you pick him?
No, I didn't.
No. Okay. All right. Anyway,
I picked him last year. All right, and we've got T.Y. Hilton going up against Marvin Jones Jr. Any word on Stafford?
He's questionable. He's limited at practice. His hand's still swollen.
Sounds like he's going to play.
Sounds like he's going to play, but also, I have it on good authority. No, it's like I don't have it doesn't. But the coach of Tampa Bay actually did say, if he plays, we are going after his hand.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
But at that same time, another person also said, well, that they might go after his hand, but they've only got 17 sacks all year. So,
right, they're going to go after it. Will they get to it is a question.
Right, but the thing is, if Craig's going to gamble, Stafford plays. Craig, do you think he's going to play the whole game?
I think Stafford does play because their playoff hopes are on the line.
They are.
Yeah,
they are.
So they're going to play him. How effective he'll be, who knows? I think this is a toss up between T.Y. and Marvin Jones Jr. I don't think either one of them has a great game. So I'm just going to say tie.
I'm going tie. It's time for the 50-point burst. Boom or bust. Craig loves it that I like boom or bust guys, and this is one of those times where he's got to come through. Next, we got a running back situation here. We got Latavius Murray versus Rod Smith.
I looked at Rod Smith's little note, and it said that he should be listed as a back-end running back 4. Back-end running back 4, which basically means he's like number 50.
Yeah, he's not that good.
No.
And Craig knows that. And
he knows it.
He's touchdown dependent. And I think when he was playing me last time, he would not got anything unless he fell in 1 yard for a touchdown. And
I think, the last game, must have been last week or the week before. I think it was last week he got a touchdown.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was in garbage time, so that's what he's hoping for. He pretty much said it on his video. He's hoping for garbage time points.
Yeah.
So, but I'm still giving it to Murray. I think he gets in the end zone legitimately. And Craig is just hoping for that garbage time.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Murray as well because it's versus Carolina and they're going to want to chew up clock. And basically, he's been on a roll lately. So he does like first, second down work. And then Minnesota's pretty good on third downs, as you know, because you have Thielen.
Yeah.
And I think I'm predicting like maybe 60 to 70 yards and a touchdown this week.
Yep.
Shouldn't be that hard.
I agree. All right. Kenyon Drake or is it Aaron Jones?
I thought it was Adam Jones.
I don't know his first name.
Aaron Jones. You're right. Jeez. I'm terrible.
I think this is clearly Kenyon Drake. He had a really nice performance last week. Was most of his performance receiving, though?
It was rushing.
Was it? Okay.
20 yards rushing.
Okay, nice. It'll be different with going against New England. Although I'll say, if you watched the game last week at all with New England and Buffalo, I watched like the first half. They were pretty effective at running the ball, and they had to stop after a while because they just got down by 2 touchdowns. So if they can get to him early, he could get a lot of rushing yards. And Aaron Jones, I don't think he's going to get a lot. Cleveland's got a good run defense.
They do. It's
so
only 2 or 3 yards per average is what it is.
Yeah, so I'm going to give that to Kenyon Drake as well.
Yeah, plus he's the change of pace back to Jamal Williams.
Exactly. So he's going to get maybe 8 touches.
Maybe. Well, okay.
Something like that.
He only got 1 touch last week, I think.
Right? So 8
in overtime, but it was a 20-yard touchdown.
Oh, jeez.
So that's the crazy part about it.
Yeah, so 8 touches would be generous.
Right. Yeah, and I like I said, Kenyon Drake, I got very lucky here because Damian Williams, when I picked him, I figured he was the better back, and everybody said he was. But they were just doing that committee thing.
Yeah,
but Williams' shoulder got separated or something. So I've been fortunate because also Mixon is now out, which I want to talk about that in unfinished business as far as like.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I'm picking Drake to get some early down work here and beat him, get some points before New England goes all wonky on him, which could happen easily.
Sounds good.
Although Matt Moore was the quarterback when they played New England. New England romped them, but now we got Smoking Joe Cutler in there, so who knows what could happen.
Yeah, I would love to see New England lose. I don't plan on it, but it'll be great.
Yes.
All right, tight ends.
Tight ends, we got Evan Ingram versus O.J. Howard.
I don't know how, in good conscience, anyone in their right mind could start O.J. Howard. I don't care who they're playing. And Bigler would be the first one to tell you that guy's dead to him. He's dead to me. I wouldn't play him at least until his third year of playing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. He had some bright moments.
He's had some bright moments, but it's like very, very far and few between. So Eli's back this week, correct?
Eli?
Yeah, Manning.
Yes.
Yeah, so Ingram by a mile.
Right. And it's kind of funny because we remember at the draft, Craig had Jordan Reed, Rob Gronkowski, Cameron Brate.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he had a fourth tight end. We were like, geez, Craig, like, why are you piling? He's looking for trades. And
Right. And he didn't. Did he trade Brate?
Yes.
Okay.
Traded to Justin, I believe.
Right.
So, but yeah. Like,
who would have thought that, come playoff time, he would not have either one of them. He didn't have.
Right. Jordan Reed was a good bet. Like I've always said, Jordan Reed is a bad bet to as a keeper. I understand where he was getting the value of it, but Jordan Reed had like one good season.
Yeah,
and he is
too injury prone.
Yeah, he's lights out when he's on the field. He's a great target, but he just gets hurt a lot. Now, Evan Ingram. Even if Eli Manning doesn't play, I mean, they're going to throw it to him a lot. And it's also I am lucky. I'm a benefit of the Ron Gronkowski suspension.
Yeah,
but. And that, in my opinion, should be 3 games. Not
easily.
It's like I watched a joke.
We'll get to that unfinished business.
But so I'm picking Ingram.
All right, and then in the flex, Kelsey versus Gurley. Good matchup, but I think Gurley gets more. Give it to Gurley.
I give it to Kelsey. Okay. Just because I think Kelsey versus Oakland. Oakland's a really terrible defense. Yeah. Target the tight end.
I think they both put up near 20 points or more, but I think Gurley edges them.
Okay, well, I'm curious. I'd be surprised. I'm actually interested in it because it's the Rams versus Philly. Philly has a good defense, and Gurley, as Craig has pointed out, hasn't got much points from the rushing game.
Right.
So it's more probably screen passes, I assume, or something like that. I believe Philly will probably have something planned for that.
Target him.
Yeah, for targeting, like a linebacker that is a spy or a container. I'm going with Kelsey, man.
All right, Tucker or Prater? I'm going Tucker.
Going Tucker, my boy.
What did he put up, like 17 points last week?
I think he had like a 40-yarder, 50-yarder, and 5 PATs.
Yeah.
And it's against Pittsburgh, and I know that he loves to destroy them.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Tucker just because this moment is the only reason I got Tucker.
For the playoffs?
Yeah, because I struggled so much with kickers. Like I said, I think it's 4 or 5 transactions I wasted. That's pathetic. You should not have to do that in a year.
All right, then we got Cincy going up against Chicago. I did not realize you guys were going head-to-head.
Well, I probably would have if Baltimore defense. That's my best squad.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Smith, their best cornerback, tore his ACL, and so he's out.
And plus, you're going against
Antonio Brown, the second best receiver in the game.
I mean, Juju's out.
Juju's out as well, but it's just you don't have your best cornerback. I feel.
I agree, and it's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
they're usually up for those games.
Right, exactly. Plus, it's Mitchell Trubisky or Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
And I feel like Cincinnati is going to be amped up and ready to go because they got to win to keep their playoff hopes alive.
True.
And they said I think Mitchell Trubisky's only broken 200 yards against the team once.
Wow.
So that's another thing that
they run Howard a lot.
Yeah, Howard and Cohen.
Yeah, and Cohen. Yeah.
And it's at home.
And it's at home for Cincy. I am actually gonna give this to Cincy versus Chicago. I think it's interesting that you guys are playing head to head.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to get more points, not by a mile. I think it's going to be... Well, I don't know, though. Since they've been pouring it on offensively. I mean, Pittsburgh slowed them down, but the games prior to that, a couple games prior to that, they were doing really well. Dalton and Green looked good.
Mixon looked good last week.
He did look good last week, even with Mixon out. Yeah.
Even Boyd and LaFell have kind of been turning it on a little bit.
So, I think Cincy wins this.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. Because since he loses to Chicago, I don't deserve to win.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's look up and down these lineups and see what our final assessment is. We both obviously know we want Craig to lose, but what will actually transpire is the question. You clearly have running backs 1. I give him a slight edge in receiver. Quarterbacks are pretty even. I give you the tight end by a mile. Flexes are close. I give you the defense. I think you're going to pull it out, and I think it's going to be on the strength of your defense and Tucker, which is crazy. But I think Tucker has that ability. He has that ability to, like, change games. Like, he hits those 40, 50-yarders. Yeah, so I'm giving it based on those two things.
Well, I appreciate that.
I really do. I really do think you're going to pull it out. I just think, like Craig said, he's happy to be here. He's happy to make playoffs. But I think he's got too many weak spots, like especially running back and tight end and his defense.
True. Yeah, well, I mean, looking up and down the lineup, obviously I'm happy to be here as well. I want to move on further. Yeah. And it was funny because if Craig does beat me, he has to go through the podcasters.
That's true.
Yes.
No, that's not true.
Oh, because if Jay wins.
Yeah, if Jay wins, Jay plays me. But let's say Jay loses, then he has to play, and Craig plays me.
He had to go through the podcasters.
That's right.
If. Hopefully there is no if at all. Now, me going through the lineups here, like Craig had pointed out before, I have bad matchups. But I'm hoping that my guys can step up to the plate and get through those bad matchups.
Yep.
And the person that I am most afraid of is Marvin Jones Jr., because he is going against the worst pass defense.
Yeah.
And the last time I played him, he destroyed me. And he's very capable of it. And I'm not going to lie, so is Fitzgerald, Hill, and Jones Jr. They're all capable of it.
Receivers are capable.
Yeah, so, but I believe I will squeak it out by 10 points or more.
All right.
So, and best of luck to you, Craig, but best of luck to me more.
Detling, do we have any phone calls this week?
Looks like there's a blinking red light, Brian. Let me dust the phone message machine off here real quick because it's been a while.
All right.
Apparently,
it's been a while.
Bean is talking is dead.
Yeah.
But like his fantasy hopes.
That's true.
So
you both came crashing down.
They sure did. All right, let me see here. Okay, let me press the button. Bring, bring. You have 2 messages.
No, I'm not mad. I'm just feeling a feeling that the opposite of happy.
Unfinished business. All right, Benedict Arnold. You had 20 minutes to be a little bitch, so I'll try and be a little more conscious or courteous and keep it short, while still keeping to your eloquent language. Number 1, Big Ben, Bryant, and Bell, dicks. Brown, showboat. Juju, badass. Number 2, doesn't matter when I became a fan, I'll never not be one. Steelers are my boys, thick and thin, forever, till death do us part. Because I'm no turncoat, and I have a sense of pride and tradition. If I didn't love them as a kid, it's because I didn't like sports when I was a kid. Hell, I didn't even love football when I played football. Just ask my brother. Number 3, when I said the Steelers and Eagles are in my blood, it's because I have generations of family who have loved those teams forever. And I choose to be a fan because of the tradition and pride of those 2 towns I admire, and what my family believes in, I will always admire. Number 4, ooh, you met Troy Polamalu. Good for you. I met Tim Burton, and Batman isn't my favorite superhero. Who gives a shit? Number 5, yes, Matt, that is, once again, Maitano's demise mortal enemy, Gon Fina. Number 6, you're no longer Dr. Doom, Det, because Dr. Doom doesn't whine like a little bitch and go the low road. You're now the mole man, because even if you're in the top 6, you're still a bottom feeder. Number 7, you insult my dream of finishing school? Even in jest, that's a douche move. Maybe you're just Benedict Arnold, and yes, there's a lot that goes into designing video games or movies or television shows, but part of it is designing characters and sets and costumes and props, and that is what I'd like to do. Benedict, bitch. And finally, 2 years I'll forget. You ever watch Game of Thrones? You know the significance of wolves in that story? Well, just like the Starks, the North never forgets. Well, neither do I. Leave one wolf alive and the sheep are never safe. And this wolf is still Kamish, and I'm very much alive, and you're only as good as a fray. Bitch.
Oh. Beep.
Oh, P.S. I don't apologize for using geek language because I follow my dreams, and I'm always going to be an awesome geek, and a Steelers fan. Because that's my dream. That's my dream. Out. Oh, yeah, by the way. Ow! Bitch.
All right. First of all,
man.
let's get Detling's immediate reaction.
I loved it.
I did. How could you not?
I love the passion, the fury of it.
It was like hard hitting. You know, it was like just an assault.
It was. The difference between me and Jimmy is I speak my mind as soon as the words come into my mind. I speak them right out there. I feel like Jimmy wrote that down on parchment.
He did, but he probably meditated for a while. Then he wrote it down, and then he delivered it with passion. He wrote me a text saying it might sound unhinged. No, it didn't sound unhinged at all. It sounded like straight from the heart. You meant every word. I like that you called him a little bitch a lot. It seems to be the new thing in our league. I think Detling started it, so now it's a thing.
I'm happy to do that trend.
But it was a great call. I loved how you had a rebuttal for every point that Detling made last week. Like you said, it took Detling 20 minutes to get that out. It took you like 2.5.
Well, like I said, also I have to speak my mind on a whim because Brian just does say something.
That's not true. He has 2 days to plan things out. We podcast on Thursday evening.
I have stuff to do. I'm working.
On Wednesday and Thursday, he has off, so he could be planning for it.
I'm working. I'm tending to my girlfriend.
While she works?
While she works. I'm trying to win a Super Bowl on Madden 15 with the Detroit Lions, and I refuse to play any other video game.
That's the truth.
That happens, and that is the truth. And I'm in my 8th season. Last season I didn't make it because I was 10-6, and the Cardinals were 11-5, and they won the wild card. I'm still mad about it. I played them week 1 this season, and I crushed them, and I was in my dreams.
Oh, wow.
But I am very serious about this. One day I will do it, and I will put it on. I'm going to send it to Josh Katula because the only reason I started doing this because he's in Korea teaching English as a second language. And I said, I'm going to win a Super Bowl for this guy in his honor because he's a Detroit Lions fan, and it is so hard with the Detroit Lions.
And he'll probably be like, all right, way to go.
I already told him that's going to happen. I told him, and he loves that my quarterback name is Charlie Pittman.
Interesting.
It's like a Wally Pipp sort of thing.
All right, well, let's get back to Jimmy for.
Okay, get back to Jimmy.
We don't care about your Madden game, no offense.
I don't understand. I believe you.
Now,
I'm not offended.
Jimmy, if Detling did one good thing this year, it's getting you back as our commissioner.
Sometimes you gotta fall in line. Is that steamrollers that coming? Like in Roger Rabbit.
Yep.
All I gotta say to you, Jimmy, is remember me, Jimmy.
But I'm glad that you're back. It's a lot of energy, and I think that it's going to propel us into 2018. And I'm happy to know that you're going to be commissioner, which I assume that Craig is going to be assistant to the commissioner and continue to do the scoring, unless he, pulls out. I don't know.
I'm a little bitch.
But yeah, Jimmy, that was the best call of the year for my money. Even if it's scripted, it was beautifully worded, and you packed a lot into that message.
I agree. As far as responding to a lot of stuff,
you might have to go and re-listen to it and then respond.
I might have to. I'll just sum it up real quick. Hey, I'm glad your family has generations of pride. I'm sure also a generation of tears if you were Eagles fans.
Oh, yeah.
And as far as what you're saying with the, what was that show again? Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
I have only seen one episode of Game of Thrones, and I've seen it twice.
You saw the same episode twice?
Twice. So if, hold on one second, she wants to say Elmo. But I saw the Game of Thrones episode twice. I don't know the significance of the wolf. I know the Stark family, but I also don't know anything about them. I don't know what the Fray is, besides maybe a 50% talent band that talks about God or something. But no, I appreciate your fury, your passion. I'm glad to have you back. That's the Jimmy I know and love, and I hope that your passion turns into actually having a decent team next year. So, and maybe I'll go back and re-listen to it. But as for now, I will just say I'm out and not do the whole thing that Craig does every single review where he stops, says, oh, I should stop. Then 2 minutes later, he should stop. Oh, I should stop. 5 minutes later, stop. So I'm just going to say, follow your dreams, Jimmy. And I'm also very happy for you for your dream as art school. And I just wanted to throw that in there for fun when I was picking on you about it. But I fully expect a comic book in my name when you are done.
Well, now that Jimmy got a good laugh, since Detling thinks he's going to have a comic book in his name, if anything, it'll be like in the liner notes that like Jimmy is cursing Detling or something, or just, you know, he'll put some kind of inside joke, say how Detling's a little bitch or something, something to that effect.
I already do have a story being written about me by an author from work that I used to work with now.
Well,
I'm sorry, not a book, a short story.
Okay, well, let us read it whenever it's done.
I will. I'm going to start putting pressure on him because he's doing nothing but sitting at home and going to see the Nutcracker and everything like that.
Sounds like we need to hear the story.
I know. I was kind of interested in what he was going to come up with because he's like, "Oh yeah, I can write something about you."
Whenever he does, bring it to the podcast.
I will.
Business.
All right, we got to keep this fast. Probably won't be fast, but Brian's got to get out of here soon.
Yeah.
First thing I want to talk about that Cincinnati Bengals Pittsburgh Steelers game.
Good. That was one of my things too.
Yeah. First, just like the sheer like gladiatorness of the game. I'm sure everybody watched it. It was awesome. I feel bad for Ryan Shazier right now.
Me too.
When I saw the hit, I didn't think it looked that bad. But then again, those hits usually are the ones that are worst.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had his head down, and he went into it, and so it probably compressed his vertebrae.
Yep.
So now they just said he had surgery today for a spinal contusion, and they were comparing like Tommy Maddox had the same type of injury, but it was like a spinal concussion sort of thing is what they called it. But he didn't need surgery, so he was okay. Now this is a very serious matter because he had to have surgery.
It looks scary.
Yeah, like they're saying that the doctor said he might never play football again.
Right.
Which at this point, I just would like him to walk again.
Yeah, and have a normal life.
Yeah, because when he first started the Steelers, he would come into the casino a lot, and you knew it was him because he has no hair.
He's pretty, yeah.
But he always seemed like he was a very nice guy, and he was very, he'd say hi to you and like just talk to people. He wasn't like get away from me, which I always appreciate from athletes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so say a prayer for Ryan Shazier if you guys pray and you're into that sort of thing. I know like Justin and Craig. I don't know about Craig. I know Justin doesn't believe, but I hope he's all right. I don't think he's coming back to the Steelers this year at all. I don't have any hope for that.
No, I'll be surprised if he plays football again.
Yeah, so will I, and which is bad because he's the captain of our defense.
Yeah.
I should say your defense.
That's right, our defense.
I'll go our defense. I am back on the bandwagon. I just can't. Now you say I can complain. I love those douchebags. They're douchebags though.
Are they your number one team?
Man, I'll get back to you on that one.
All right, they're not. You're not on the bandwagon yet.
No, but so Ryan Shazier. That's what I have to say about Ryan Shazier. Now, Vontaze Burfict, you're still a douchebag.
Oh yeah.
The whole fact Juju crack blocked you was awesome. Like it was like Juju, you are a hero to Pittsburgh. Nobody can stop talking about this.
This season he is the man.
He is the man. Like everybody in Pittsburgh wants to.
He could retire right now and like go down as a legend.
Yeah, like again, I want a T-shirt. Like I immediately started looking in the white. I was like, I want a T-shirt with a picture of him standing over Burfict and saying Juju, something with Juju. But I'm sure there's gonna be one made. You'll probably find it on down the Strip District, not a lot from the NFL, obviously. But what I have the problem with is. Juju got suspended? Like for that hit, it was a legal hit. He did not go for the helmet. He crack blocked him in the shoulder blades right above. And then you got Gronkowski.
There was some helmet to helmet.
But it glanced off the chest.
I agree. It was kind of unintentional. Yeah. I don't think he intentionally went for the helmet.
No, and my point about this is they tell you to have your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
And you can attest to this because I actually know from experience and whatever it wasn't a turkey bowl. It was a football game, and a flag football game, two-hand touch. But the one guy did not know that it was. He thought it was tackle. And on a kickoff return, I can't remember if it was you or Teresa that was running the ball. All I remember is thinking of black and gold jersey going by, and when I went to step to the left, I went to turn, and I was following whoever. I'm gonna say it was you.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I was following you to the left, and I took one step, and then all I saw was blackness. Mm-hmm. I woke up, and there was people around me, and it was just like, what the hell happened? And I remember the jarring hit. Like I just remember the crunch.
Yeah.
And just being on the ground like 2 seconds and boom. And I probably, looking back, should not have played the rest of that game.
Should have taken yourself out.
I should have. But I just remember wanting to play and take off Brandon Clark's head.
Yep.
And that's like the only reason I played. But I just remember. And that's without helmets, without pads, and we aren't physically gifted men.
Right.
So I can imagine with Juju and Vontaze being like, just crushing.
Oh my goodness.
That it was
at the
worse.
Speed, yeah.
Yeah, and there's like rumors that Vontaze Burfict faked it and he jumped off the stretcher when he got out into the tunnel. So who knows? If he's playing next week, I say that's true.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because they said the same thing about AB last year. They said he faked his concussion.
Oh yeah,
which
right.
is
Adam Jones said that.
that's complete BS.
Yeah, but the whole thing is the league is like. I mean, so you suspend Juju. You don't suspend the guy that crushed Antonio Brown. You suspend Gronk for 1 game, and the league is they're altruistic, or what's another word I'm looking for it, but sure they want to they're not protecting the players, they're protecting themselves.
Absolutely.
But in the funny, it's just like people are like, how can Juju get suspended this, and then you got Gronk who went after the whistle, did a forearm shiver on the guy's back of his head while he's on the ground, and there's like. It's because he's white, because he's a New England Patriot, and he's a star player. He's a star player.
Right.
And they're saying, oh, he's a lovable, goofy guy. There's reputation. But Juju has the same reputation.
Absolutely.
Everybody loves him.
Yeah, he lost his bike.
Yeah, he lost his bike, man. So everybody's, where's the bike? Where's the bike? But my point is, and one thing I want to point out is, this happens in the game all the time. Amari Cooper got concussed like the week before or whatever. This dude, I think it was on Texans DeAndre or something, launched himself like a missile. His helmet right into his helmet. Nothing was called. Nothing. No suspension. Nothing. Julio Jones crack blocked somebody the exact same way Juju did. The exact same way, right down to the ground. Nothing was happening.
I don't think that Juju gets suspended if he doesn't taunt. If he doesn't taunt, I think he just gets fined.
The guy that gave him suspension, Troy Vincent. Well, James Thrash is the one that made the decision on this, but Troy Vincent, who also had to play it, said that the taunting had nothing to do with it. With the suspension.
Yeah, I think it does, even if he's saying it doesn't. Because one of the refs said the taunting did impact it. One said it didn't.
Right.
But I think it did. I think if he just made the block and went on his way, and he still was concussed, I think he might get a fine. But that's it.
Yeah. Well, my point. Well, okay, I get that, but there's taunting in the end zone. As soon as they score touchdowns, they taunt people. They taunt you after they score a touchdown. They drop the ball in front of you or something. All kinds of taunt. It's part of the game.
It is. It's part of the game. But I think the fact that he was injured made it look worse. He didn't know he was injured at the time. Right.
Well, here's another thing. So he starts to step over him.
Yeah.
If Vontaze Burfict is injured, how does he go and grab his leg and latches on it as he's trying to drag himself away?
Oh, did he? I didn't see that.
And then he falls back and falls back and is concussed. He recognizes that he's over when he's mad, so he grabs his ankles. It's just a weird thing. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But I disagree with it all. I think it's part of the game. And I don't. Other hits though, I don't like the Antonio Brown hit where you just go right through the helmet.
Oh my goodness, that was so dirty.
I think it's worse.
Yeah.
These things.
Yeah, he should have gotten 1 or 2 games. Juju should have got 0. Gronk should have got 3.
Yeah, I believe Gronk should have got 3. I believe the other guy that I think is Aloka or whatever his name is should have got 1. And I think Juju should have got a fine. Now, also when it comes with cursing here, going against Craig now, I probably don't have Burfict because of that. I shouldn't have had that Aloka guy because of that. And I don't have Joe Mixon because of the Steelers.
Wow.
So I was watching that game, I was totaling those injuries up in my head. I'm like, oh man, this sucks.
For next week.
Yeah, for next week.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
it could be cursed.
So he might not have Gronk, but I don't have Mixon, and I don't have one of the best player on the defense.
I think that's kind of a wash.
Yeah, I would call it a wash.
Yeah, that's a wash. But yeah, I was going to bring up the same thing. I think the league needs to get their shit together in terms of dishing out penalties, suspensions and fines. It doesn't add up, and I think everybody can see it. It's drop my phone.
Still working.
Still good. But yeah, I don't mind the game. I think it was a pretty violent game, but the only hit I had a problem with was the one on AB in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, because that one seemed the most vicious and intentional.
Yeah, well, he was trying to jar the ball loose, and that's what the guy that made the decision on Derek Brooks, a great defensive, I think, linebacker for the Buccaneers. He's the one that made the call on that. It was kind of funny because the defensive guy made the call on him, and James Thrash, the receiver, made the call on Juju.
Oh, okay.
So you,
that was kind of funny.
Yeah, could imagine from James Thrash's perspective, I would have been like, no, that's a regular block.
Yep. I have no idea how AB held onto that ball. No idea.
By the grace of God.
Yeah, and I love how his hands go straight up.
Yeah, I know.
It's like almost like a taunt in his own way. Like, you tried to knock me out, I held on, and I didn't get knocked out.
And then I forgot to do this thing, but every time you're going to talk about your team and your hubris, I'm just going to go, karma, karma.
That is funny. All right, that's good for that one. Unfinished business. Technically, it's finished business since nobody in the league except for Craig Gabisic will actually congratulate me. I'd like to congratulate the Hillbillies on PCP on their season championship. Again, this is something, like Craig said, nobody will ever remember this except for the person who gets it. I'll remember it because it's the first time I've ever had first place overall. I'm excited to have the bye. I'm excited, like Josh said, to have the week off, to sit back, hope my players don't get injured. Yeah, so congratulations to the Hillbillies on PCP. Enjoy your week off.
Oh, man. Sorry, Brian. I did not. I just totally escaped me. I also said once during the podcast that I forgot that you were in first place. Well, I kept thinking Josh was there for like the last 12 weeks, you know?
He not about 12 weeks because I had it for about 3 weeks.
Did you?
Oh yeah, but Josh predicted that he was going to lose the last 2 weeks, and he did lose the last 2 weeks. And that goes into my second piece of unfinished business, and that is, Josh, I hate to say it, but my theory on your team is kind of like coming true about your boom or bust. I don't wish it on you, but unfortunately, you were a bust the last 2 weeks, and like you said, your team better figure something out on the week off because they're going to need something to go up against whoever it is, whether it's Dylan, Craig, Jutt, Jay. You're going to need to put up at least 160, 70 points to have a chance. So, Cobra, good luck. I would love to meet you in the finals. So I'm getting ahead of ourselves, but I hope to see you in the finals. If you can get past yours, I'll do my part, you do yours.
All right. Is that all your unfinished business?
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. My other unfinished business has nothing to do with fantasy football. I'll just make it quick. I watched a documentary. No, it's actually interesting. Brian's laughing at me right now. But so it's this thing called Hating Apu.
Okay.
And it was about this Indian comedian who started talking about Apu, the Simpsons character, and how he hates, all Indians hate Apu because growing up in their lifetime they were all made fun of, and they would be like, everybody would come by and be like, thank you, come again. That's like all they would say.
It's like their stereotype.
Yeah, it's so stereotypical, and also I think Apu only said it about 8 times in the whole season, all of the Simpsons like history or something. Wow. And he's just talking about how like, he's offended because not only is he stereotyped, but it's also being voiced by a white man, Hank Azaria.
Okay.
And it just goes on talking about like why it was made and just like also the guy that plays Kumar. Okay. He interviews all these other Indian actors. And like Kumar said, I don't know his real name or else I'd say it. But Kumar's like, I hate the Simpsons completely. I hate them because of Apu. Because the one comedian says he just says he just went dead to him. Wow. But everybody should watch it because it's actually interesting and it points out how the Simpsons actually is a very racist show and stereotypical and racist. And the one guy said, was like 20 seasons going on. Yeah. I myself, I think I watched the first 4 or 5, and then it kind of just fell off. Oh, what? Okay, hold on one second. Nola wants something. And it's just funny because like Craig and Justin and all them love The Simpsons. And then also, I mean, it's just kind of funny, like, well, maybe they're like borderline everybody calls me racist, so like maybe you guys are racist, and you guys should just realize it. Well, they probably laughed at the Apu jokes and the stereotypical Italian jokes and everything like that. And now I'm actually curious just to go back and watch the jokes because it makes the stereotypes. It brings out the alcoholic, the deadbeat dad, the Indian clerk, and all those things. But the one guy, they settled it. They at the end, they're like, basically, The Simpsons is your racist grandpa, and that he should die, and then you can just remember the good things about him. Is what he said.
So they're saying The Simpsons
should just die. And because the guy said, this guy, the comedian, said, I was a fan of The Simpsons, like the first 10 seasons. But I would recommend, I said, watch the documentary. It's like 50 minutes long, but it's actually really interesting from the point of view of all the Indian comedians. It was on demand here on Xfinity Comcast. Okay. Like another part that I remember funny was an Indian comedian who's also, Craig would probably know his name, was on the Daily Show. He's a correspondent.
Oh yeah, I know him.
And they did an interview with him.
Funny.
Yeah, and he said when he first got the job, he was with Jon Stewart, and he said to Jon Stewart, he said, should I do with an accent? The accent, because that's what everybody likes. They like the Indian accent. That's the stereotypical. And and Jon Stewart was like drinking his coffee. And he said Jon Stewart was like mid sip, and like as soon as I said it to him, he almost like choked on his coffee and like looked. And he's like, oh, why would you do that? No, just be yourself. And he said, and then like I kind of like when Jon Stewart turned his head, I was like, yes, because I don't have to pretend to be the stereotypical Indian. But it is an interesting documentary. I recommend it, and I think if you guys like The Simpsons, you also enjoy this kind of like another way of looking at it.
I will check it out. Since we're talking about random stuff, I'm watching a documentary on Netflix right now. We should have something called What are you watching? It's pretty good. It's called Jim and Andy. It's on Jim Carrey about the making of Man on the Moon, and it's on Netflix, and it's very good, especially if you're a Jim Carrey fan. He's a weirdo, but I like him. They did a documentary behind the scenes while they shot Man on the Moon. A lot of people know that he was doing like method acting for that, and it's really, really funny and cool to see him be Tony Clifton, Andy Kaufman, and not break character for anyone, for wrestlers, for the director, and he pisses off a lot of people, and it's hilarious.
I would like to see that.
But it's also just cool to hear Jim Carrey's take on it 20 years later. So it's on Netflix. There's a documentary called Jim and Andy. Check it out if you like that movie or Jim Carrey. So that's that.
Okay.
All right. Final thoughts for the first weekend of the playoffs. I'll just say the general good luck to everyone. My gut says that Detling and Jutt will both win. My heart wants Detling and Jay to win, so I'm going to be pulling for Jay. I haven't looked at the score for the game yet, but I'm hoping that he got off to a nice fast start with Julio and Freeman. So, Jutt, no disrespect to you, but hey, you took my second Tonto Bowl. If you hadn't done that, I'd be supporting you. So you made a big mistake 2 years ago, one that you'll never be able to repair. So I would love to see you, Judd. If you win, I'd love to see you in the Tonto Bowl 15 and just annihilate you. All right. Any final thoughts there, Det?
First of all, you put a lot of thought in those final thoughts. I think it's funny how we treat past Tonto Bowls like relationships. Like he broke your heart, cheated on you or something. My final thoughts are good luck to everybody. I'm happy to be in the playoffs. I would love to make a run if I can. If I don't, it is what it is. If Craig beats me, congrats to you, Craig. I won't be happy about it. I might have something to say next podcast. But let's enjoy the rest of this. It's almost coming to an end. And let's whoever has the trophy, enjoy it, Gags, for the last probably like 6 months or something. I hope to see you next week, and I have something to talk about as far as my team goes. And should I stop?
Are you ready?
Am I gonna stop? I'll stop.
Are you ready?
Am I stopping? I am ready, Brian.